Welcome to a special CK podcast. I'm your host, Leo Bias. As I've said all year, we're going to have local, national, special guests. Today's a very special one. Obviously, CBS's own Sara Hodges. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I know you just came back from a trip from Vegas.
Yeah,
and
that's why I'm so tan.
Right, and the big fight was Saturday night.
Yep.
Did you get to watch that in Vegas?
I didn't even get to watch it because, so what was crazy is my friends and I planned this trip to Vegas. Like we try to, get away every 3 months together. I've grown up with them since we're like in 6th grade. And so like we try to, just have fun. And they're like, let's go see Mariah Carey.
Okay.
I was like, perfect. Legend. I would love to go see Mariah Carey. We're all excited. I'm like, we need good seats because it's Mariah. Like, we'll probably never see her again. And she's worthy of it. Then like maybe 3 weeks later, they announced the fight. And so that was Saturday night.
Right.
So even though I was there, I couldn't even go watch it live. And I couldn't even watch it on TV because I was obviously in the concert.
On the streets of Vegas, like after the fight, or did you get to catch anything?
Not really.
No at all.
It was pretty quiet. Like I thought it was going to be way more crazy out there. Even like the night scene was a little bit. Okay. I wanted to go to Dre's, but we didn't. It was like a ticket only, and then by that time we just like went and met friends at a nightclub that they're at, and it wasn't that busy. It wasn't that crazy. I thought it was going to be way more wild.
Right on. So Sara, CBS, who is Sara when the lights and the cameras aren't on a day-to-day basis?
That's a hard question because I just feel like I'm just like myself, which is like easygoing. Like I'm a loving person. I love animals. I'm pretty chill. Like I'm from California. Like usually we're a little bit more chill.
SoCal?
I feel. SoCal. I'm from Orange County. I grew up with all brothers. So I think that I have like a little bit more of like a chill vibe about me because of that. Because like nothing in my life was ever a big deal because I was around brothers and I had to like just figure it out with them. I couldn't. Even though like now I feel like they catered to me more than they did when I was younger. Like when I was younger, I couldn't just be like, oh, like help me or like this or like, I had to be like tough with them.
Right.
But
are you the oldest?
No, second to oldest. I'm the middle.
Okay.
One older brother, 2 younger brothers.
And you went to college where?
Cal State Fullerton.
How was that experience?
It was cool. Like I was close to home. I went JUCO first. I played basketball first season at LA City College. Just went there because I was still figuring it out, and honestly I like didn't get the best grades in high school and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and I just kind of found my way there. And then ended up I actually went to Colorado for a year. Hated it. It was so cold. It was so miserable that I'm not even joking. It wasn't even just cold. It was like dry. My like skin was dry. Like I know I'm sounding like real bougie right now, but like it was just for me. I'm like, why am I here doing this when I can be like at home, like enjoying myself? Like I moved away from like all my family and friends.
Why'd you move though?
Because I got accepted into the University of Colorado. So I was like, okay. And my mom actually had moved to Colorado. So I was like, I'll go live with her. And I went there and it was just weak. It's kind of messed up. Sorry if you're from Colorado.
We apologize. Yeah.
Just wasn't my scene, Like it was cool, but like too cold, just not me. So then I applied to Fullerton, got in, and then that was that.
So what was that moment that made you realize, hey, I want to go into journalism. I want to be a sports reporter. Do you remember that moment?
You know what? I actually have like such a crazy story about this, but
let's hear it.
So there was never like, okay. So I grew up obviously playing sports, all brothers, all of that. So I thought like, I'm going to be a coach or something. I'm going to do something with sports. I didn't really know. And honestly, like I didn't even think about reporting. Like I don't know why it never like
Were
came
you
to
like tomboyish.
Yeah, I was a tomboy. Like tried to dress like my brothers, tried to be them and all of that. I don't know why I never thought about it. I watched ESPN. I fell asleep to it every single night, and it just never. Maybe because there was less women in sports then. Like, and I don't know that for sure. I don't remember that. But
there were less women.
No, definitely there were, but I don't remember that was my thought process. Like, because there's no women. I don't think that was it. But I went to Colorado to visit my mom, snowboarding. I hurt my leg there. And so my mom's like, they have the best doctors here. You need to stay. Like, we need to check it out. So I was like, okay. So I ended up staying for like a month with her. It was like during winter break when I had gone. So like I had the luxury of being there for a little bit, not missing school. And I was flying back to Southern California. And I sat down and I was just chopping it up with some random person, you know, journalists. We can just talk to anybody. So I was just chopping it up with this guy. And he was like, what do you want to do? And, you know, it was like my first year in school. And I was like, you know, I'm still trying to figure it out. But he's like, well, what do you love? He's like, well, you know, what can you see yourself doing? I was like, well, I love sports. And he's like, what about it? And I was like, I just love like the energy. I love the feeling when you're in an arena and it's like electrifying. And I feel like if I worked in sports, I would be happy. Like, right? Like you say like you never want to work a day in your life when you leave for work. And then I was like, so I don't know, like maybe a coach, like, you know, I kind of went down that. He's like, you should be a sports reporter. Literally. He's like, you should be a sports reporter. He's like, you're easy to talk to. Like, you ask good questions. Like, we're sitting here getting to know each other. Never saw that guy again in my life. I don't know if he's ever going to see this podcast.
What was his name?
I don't even know. I literally don't even know. But if he heard the story, he would know.
So that was the moment.
Yeah, that was the moment. And so I was still doing my like general ed stuff, switched my stuff over, never looked back. And that was that. It was like crazy.
At Cal Fullerton or at Colorado?
I was at that point in LA City College, going to LA City College. I was young. I was like probably 18.
Okay.
When that happened.
And then from there you went to Fullerton.
From there I went to Colorado, then Fullerton, because it was now my mom was there, but it was like just not the same.
Right.
Period. Like, you know,
SoCal.
Yeah, like Colorado's beautiful.
SoCal.
Like, Colorado is gorgeous. Like, I would love to go visit. I love to snowboard. Like all of that outdoorsy, cool. Just for me to live there, if I have an option, it wasn't happening for me. But.
So talk about that path of you graduating and then searching for jobs. Talk about the difficulties, because I went to school out in Nevada, and a lot of my classmates, you know, took a while to get a job.
Yeah.
And it's hard because our industry is so small.
It is.
So talk about that real fast.
So while I was in school at Cal State Fullerton, I got an internship at the CBS station in Los Angeles.
All right on.
Interned there. It was really, really cool. I got to build a little bit of a reel for myself. I also actually, craziest story is I interned in Reading before too. Like in between, I thought I could get a job there right after school. But anyways, long story short, because, you know, we can talk about this for the whole podcast, is I got an internship. I built my little reel. I put my reel together. It took me about a year to find a job. I sent my stuff out while I was still interning. I was graduated from school by this time, still didn't have a job. It took me about a year out of school to find a job. And then I got my first opportunity in Dothan, Alabama.
Wow. You went the other way of the country.
I went to the dirty South.
Jeez.
But see, for then, it was like, yeah, I didn't love it, and I really knew nobody, but it was like, it was worth it because I knew it was what I had to do for my next step in life. Like, I knew it was what I had to do. So it didn't bother me as much. I could have gone to school anywhere. So that was a difference kind of there. Like, yeah, Dothan.
So 1 year after college.
1 year after college.
And you went dirty South.
Dirty South. Dirty, like bordering Florida.
Talk about that experience and how did that help you grow as a human being, as a journalist?
Yeah. Right? So, yeah. My first job was not the best experience. It was, you know, I think that being from California, when you go other places, like sometimes people really don't know how to take you, right? But that could be anywhere, right? That could be people from the South coming here as well. So when I went there, I just felt like I get along with anybody, so it doesn't even matter, you know? But I felt like maybe for my bosses, it was a little bit hard for them to understand me and then to accept me just as who I am, right? So like I almost felt like I was too Cali, like really. I was just like, my swag was different, like the way I talked was different, things about me were different. And the craziest story is in my very first job there, my boss didn't think I had what it takes to get the job done. Like, you know, probably to similar people when they're starting their journey. And the reality of it is like, it happens to everybody, but there he basically told me, like, you're just, like, not a good fit here, you know? It was hard.
Ouch.
I went to the
No
bathroom.
doubt.
I remember, like, I was like, oh my gosh, it, like, shocked my whole body because I'd only been there, like, a month. And I'm like, it's rained the entire time I've been here. I barely had opportunity. We're in the middle of baseball season where I'm covering, like, high school baseball, which is great. But it's like, I haven't even had time to, like, learn how to shoot, use the cameras. Like, and already I'm not good enough. Like, I just got here. I haven't even had it. I just graduated college. This is my first job. Like, this is where I'm supposed to have somebody mold me and tell me, like, okay, but automatically it was like, he was just not feeling it. Like, he wasn't feeling it. Like, I remember, like, why do you wear earrings like that? Yeah. Or like just little things, you know? And then so I was like, it was hard for me. Like, I went to the bathroom, I shut the door. I was like, okay, get it together. Get it together.
Did you cry
a little bit. I called my mom on the phone and she's like, do not walk out there, like, with them seeing you cry. Like, get it together. And so I was like, okay. So I got it together and I told them, like, you know, they didn't want me there. And I said, okay, like, that's cool. So I'll just apply to different places. You know, what can I do? Well, I went into the GM's office and I told him, like, how unfair I thought it was, like, you know, kind of spoke my piece. And he was like, I understand. He had just gotten there. And I was like, I want to stay through football season. You know, because we were already coming up almost into college and we were covering Alabama, Auburn. And I was like, I want to stay through football season and then I'll go after. And he was like, cool. So he let me. So then that same year, 2013, that's when Auburn went to the national championship. That was the prayer at Jordan Hare. That was, you know, the kick six. I was there for all of that.
Wow.
And so I appreciated that I stuck to who I was instead of forming into who they wanted or begging me. But at the same time, it was tough because it's like, geez, like, am I not good enough? Like, can I not do this? I mean, I still have questions to this day, like any of us do about, you know, what we're doing. But you know, that's when you really have to lean on your family and prayer and things like that to get you through it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I can still go home. Like, you know, my mom's not going anywhere. Like, you know, my brothers aren't going to leave me stranded or, you know, my whole life, they always told me I was good enough and I was beautiful. And I had a dad and a stepdad and they all told me, like, I was good enough. So hearing somebody kind of say that is like a reality check. Cause you're like, dang, like, not everybody's going to like you. Like, that's real.
Big facts.
Yeah. So
that story's fascinating, Sarah, because I had some similar, but that happened to me as a freshman in college. So I had time to, like, realize and just work for it. And you got it, like, the first couple weeks of your job. And it's like, how do you rebound? And you did a great job. And
shout out to Matt Harris. Matt Harris, for that. Because, well, he was not the best to me, but he made me, and Kim Allen, those were the two guys who, you know, basically told me I wasn't good enough. And I told them, I was like, I literally was in the office with them and I was like, you're wrong. And that's cool. But, you know, I've always kind of wanted to, like, maybe message them or be like, you know what, like, thankfully I was strong enough, right? But like, if you did that to somebody else, you could have ruined, like, everything that they ever dreamed of in life because you were wrong. Yeah. Like, you guys didn't take the time to, like, feel it out or think about it or even be a good manager, right? Like, you guys could have gotten credit in a different way for me, but now your credit is in a negative way for somebody like me. And I'm sure there's multiple stories, you know, of people that they've done that to, you know, I don't know. I know of a couple, but, you know, it's just wild.
So like, he just said verbatim, you're not good enough. Or
we just don't think that you're a good fit here.
Okay.
And maybe I wasn't, but my next job in Mississippi. Now it was even
even dirtier.
I mean, look, here's the thing: is like Mississippi was more my people because at least they were like. In Alabama, the people were great there, but in Mississippi, I was in Greenville, Mississippi, and it was just more my people. Like, I could be like, that's where I really found myself as a journalist, was there, because that's when I realized, Sarah, you can be yourself and still do your job. Like, you don't have to form into somebody, and it takes time to realize that. Like, people are like, oh, what's your best advice? Like, be you. Okay, so how do I be me and still be professional, you know, because some people, I struggle with that a little bit because, you know, you have to be professional, but you still have to give your opinion and you have to figure that out. But that's really the best advice. And there, I was doing things that were more myself. Like, I did a segment like, oh, snap. Like, it was like the oh, snap play of the week. And it would be like, oh, snap, son. And I could be like just more me, but still deliver the news and highlight, you know, these young kids like doing big things, little ballers in the area. And, but I could put my flavor on it. And I was like going to games and people were like, oh, snap, you know, and it was like, people like it, you know, like I can be me. I can have little segments in my show that are myself. And I'll have to be so like, you know, prim and proper for everybody to satisfy people. Like I can just really be me and people will enjoy that I'm genuine and that I love what I do. They're going to see that I love what I do through my work. And my last job didn't appreciate that, but my job in Mississippi did. And that's when it gave me the confidence from there. Like, people like me. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm going to be okay.
That's why I love this industry, because we're a people person, right? We could talk to the most random person. You took that episode of your life as, hey man, I'm gonna use this as motivation, you know, in some sense, F those guys, right? That's the mindset. For me, my mentor at that time was a freshman. He said, "You effing suck," to my face, and you got to get off your high horse. Most kids, I believe, would have taken it the wrong way and would have cried. I took it like, damn, I do. And I think that's what makes me good at what I do, right? I was like, no. I flipped the switch like, you got to go to Barnes & Noble, start reading books, improve your writing, and and I was like, perfect.
You're like, I'm not going to suck.
Like, I took that receptively as a positive, not as a negative, where most kids would have taken that as a negative. And it just shows how we're all so different, right?
Yeah.
And our past and our journey
is driven
just
by
so
like
different.
the fear of me. Like I'm driven by the fear of like that I'm not going to succeed or that I'm not going to break this generational curse, you know, that before me. Like I'm driven by the fear of like that I'm not going to be everything I wanted to be in life. Like I cannot accept that I won't. It's just in me, you know, it's not in everybody like that. And look, like not everybody has this like easy journey. Like there's journalists who've never had to pick up a camera in their life and who got their first job in Miami or their first job in Boston. Like that wasn't my journey. Like my journey, I started literally the traditional way from the bottom and I'm working my way up, you know, and it's everybody's story is different. And I appreciate mine. Like I appreciate every single step. I appreciate my time in Dothan, even though it didn't work out and it was hurtful and it was painful and it cost me a lot of money and all that is part of what shaped me, right? Just like the way I was raised. Like it wasn't perfect, but it's part of what shaped me into who I am. And I'm grateful for that. So, and now I'm here in Sac, like with my people.
Absolutely. So for Mississippi, you came here?
From Mississippi, I went back to Alabama, to Huntsville, Alabama.
Different. Went back.
So what it is, so like how it works.
Alabama.
Yeah, and TV is like job markets, right? You probably are familiar, but for the people who aren't, it's like the lower, technically, I think there's like 220 markets, let's just say in the United States. So the higher the market, which is like the worst market you are, the least amount of people are watching you, right? Yeah. So like I went from 160 to Dothan, I went to 190. I took a step back. See, in Dothan though, I was the number 3. So I was doing news and sports. And maybe that's why it kind of wasn't working out because I never got in this to do news. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. You should have saw me live the other day when there were shots fired at one of these high school games. I was like, it sounded like tat, 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 tat. Not really, but like something like that, you know?
Sara.
Like, right? Like, you know, so they had me doing hybrid and I could do it. Like everybody like was like laughing and see like here people, they like it, you know, I could be myself. Like, no, but I was doing news there. So maybe that's why it didn't work out so much. So then I went to Mississippi, which was 190. So I kind of took a step back, but I was the weekend sports anchor there. So it was a better position. And then from there, I loved everybody, by the way, in Mississippi, Greenville, Mississippi was just the best. And then from there, I went to Huntsville, Alabama, which is market 80. So I made that big jump. And then from market 80 to SAC is 20. So
big jump.
Yeah. So like, you know, you're just making, and some people, like I said, it's different. Some people get a job straight in the top 10 market. They never have to hold a camera. They don't know what that's like. Me, I was that person carrying the camera, carrying the tripod, carrying the laptop. Versatile. Exactly. I know how to do it all. I can do anything that anybody does. I may not be the best at it, but I can do it all. Not everybody can say that, I guess.
Facts. And what's next for Sara Hodges?
So I just, I didn't like make it public or anything because I just am not really like that type of person.
Breaking news, y'all.
Breaking news. Yeah, I re-signed here for 18 more months. Okay. So I am officially, so you know Joe Musso was here. He was that weekend anchor. I was the number 3. Well, he left. So I got promoted into his position and I re-signed for 18 months. So I'm here in SAC at least 18 more months. And I'm so excited because at CBS 13, we've done you know, when we came here, there was no sports department for like 10 years.
Forever, yeah.
And so we, you know, sort of built how we thought how the station and all that should be. And so Joe was here. We had a guy named Henry Wolford at first. That was our number one, and he was great. But he kind of just, you know, he was ready like to be kind of out of the business. You know, you kind of can tell when people are getting to the point where they're like,
I'm done.
I don't have the fire anymore. And once that fire is kind of let out, it's like, well, then you're just going to be average, right? Because you don't have anything that gets you going inside, right? And I think for him, it was time. And then so it was Joe and I for so long by ourselves, just like, you know, just grinding it out. And then we got Marshall Harris, who was a great addition to our team. He's improved our sports department in so many ways. And we've, I mean, geez, I was at almost every NFL game, you know, during the season, which was not the case before. And, you know, we got to bring inside info from all of our local guys from both the Raiders and the 49ers. And, you know, we're doing all these specials for March Madness. And I guess that there's money in sports.
Oh, yeah.
It's not in my bank account, but allegedly there's money to be made. No, so yeah.
Absolutely. 18 months more of Sara, right? So technically, you can't break that contract. You have to wait until that. Is that how it works? When you have?
Yeah, so it depends. Everybody's different. Like some people get outs in their contracts, like where they could leave. I don't. Like the only place technically I could break my contract and go to is the CBS station in LA.
That'd be the next step.
That would be
the number one market or number two market in the nation?
That's the number two.
Okay.
Number one's New York. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, like the only way I could break my contract is to another O&O. Let's just say another CBS O&O. That's the only way. But you know, I bought a house here. My very first house ever.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, you know, I'm happy. Like, I'm barely finishing that project up. So, like, I was excited to re-sign my 18-month, like, just where my life is at and everything right now. I'm happy. But, yeah, for me, you know, the ultimate goal would be, like, to be with my family. Now my family's all in LA, back together. I have one brother who's in Illinois, but, you know, we're working on that.
So, secretly, would you want to end up back in LA?
Yeah, I think that's exactly like where I will end up.
Okay.
Yeah, because for me, like I'm 33. So it's like at this point in my life, unless I'm making like somebody offers me some buku amounts of money, then yeah, obviously we can talk. But like, yeah, like I picture myself with my family. I picture like I have a niece and nephew who, you know, I'm missing out on, you know, their whole life. And I just feel like I would be such a good influence on them, and I can, you know, take them to their practices, and I'm missing out on so much of that. And although, yeah, it's not my responsibility to like raise my niece and nephew, and nobody's saying that, but it's like, I want to do that. I want to be a part of their lives. I'm doing all this for my family at the end of the day. So it's like, if they can't benefit and learn from me, then it's kind of like, what am I doing it for, right? Like, I feel like they don't see me enough. Like, I can't be as big of an influence on them as I really, really want to be. But I realize, like, eventually I will be too. Like, maybe, you know, it's going to take me a little bit longer than, you know, we would have hoped. They beg me can't you just quit your job? We don't get it. Like, just quit. You know, awesome. They don't get it. But yeah, so.
That's awesome.
I would like to be, you know, next to them. And, you know, my parents divorced when I was super young, and my dad's from Decatur, Illinois. And so he had a kid in another marriage after, and that's my other brother, and he's there, and has a little girl and a baby on the way. And so it's like, I'm hoping that eventually he gets out to Southern California, and then we can all be together. That's the plan. Awesome.
So the Kings are 2-0 post All-Star break.
Right. I didn't see the game. I didn't see the Clippers game because I was in Vegas, but
how exciting is that? And what's that do for a network like you guys in Sacramento? Just for the people, just to get an idea.
Yeah, like
because when the Kings are bad, people don't watch.
But I heard like, nah, I don't know about that because I'm on a news station, so I think people are watching regardless of what the Kings do. But yeah, like it builds like a healthy narrative, because like usually the narrative like isn't so healthy, like you know, and it almost seems like there's so many like people like hating on the Kings that are even from here that they like get more excited when the Kings lose, low key. Like I could be wrong, but like, so I don't know if it really matters.
You see some of that.
Yeah, you see some of that. I don't think it really matters, but yeah, if they're winning, like obviously like my news director is probably going to allow us to do more things. Like we try to be at every Kings, you know, game, practice. Like we try to make it, you know, it can't always happen, but no, I think it builds like a healthy and fun narrative rather than like one.
Will they make the playoffs?
no. But like that would be crazy if they did. Like I wouldn't obviously be upset, but like I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs. Like I want them to. Like what? Like I want them to win. Like, you know, we're close with these guys. We're in the locker room with them. We read about them. We write about them. We all of this, and it's like they become such a big part of our lives. Like even though like it's not like a family dynamic, it's just like, of course you want these people to win. You know, like we're human. I think like also what we do now, like when I was just a sports fan, the way like I just thought was just so different. Like now that I'm actually working in it, like I'm like, chill, y'all. Like don't be so hard on them. You know, they're people too. You know, but before I was like, it's true, man, he can't dribble the ball, man. Like, you know, when I watch the Raiders play, like anybody who's in the office will know, like, because we go on right after the Raiders, and the Raiders are my team. And I'm sitting out here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sitting out here cursing out Derek Carr. Me too. Okay? Me too. And, you know, Marshall's getting upset because I'm using curse words, but it's like, I just like can't stand it. Yeah. Like, you know, watching it, it's so hard.
It's hard to cover your team.
It's very hard.
And I'm covering my team. So I get very emotional and with myself, and because, you know.
That's a good thing.
But then it makes you feel weird.
Yeah, when the Lakers came here to play.
Just like he's a big Niner fan. Like, every time they lose, I can't talk to him for the first few days. Because he's like.
It's depressing.
He's depressed.
Yeah, no, I already know
Super
what it's
Bowl,
like.
oh my God, Super Bowl, he was like angry. I was just like, all right, whatever, bro. I just left him alone.
You need to blame two people for that.
He knows who they are. He's just as a fan. It's kind of hard to see
everything. It is
everything.
Hard. Well, and it's funny because like, you know, I have a photog, Shockey. That's like my main dude, and like he's a huge Niners fan, and obviously I'm a Raiders fan. So we'll go. And then we were at the 49ers Vikings game, you know, boom, we're in the postseason. He's like, oh, the Raiders. And I was like, bro, like, you're not upsetting me by like talking crap about the Raiders not making the playoffs. Like, at the end of the day, like Eric Armstead's from here, Ross Dwelly's from here, Akello Witherspoon, like these are guys I want to win. Like, I don't like, I'm not, that is the difference now as a reporter than I was as a fan. As a fan, I would probably be hurt. But now that I'm a reporter, like I'm more, I realize that like it's not these individual guys ultimately's fault. Like these are like there's 52 players and everybody has to execute in their moment at the right time. And it's like it doesn't always end up like that, right? Like I mess up on the air all the time. Like I mess up in doing what I do. Period. Like that's just the way it goes. And it's like you can either be hard on somebody. For me, nobody's gonna be harder on my mess ups than me. Gosh. Nobody. So it's like, trust me, I already beat myself up over the head 20 times over before I get an email from a viewer who's telling me what I did. Like, you know, but hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Last thing before I let you go.
Sure.
What are you working on right now? What should we expect from Sara Hodges in the next few months? Any exclusives? I
mean, you know, not really.
Any community work?
What I want to do, and maybe y'all can help me out with this, is like I really do want to get into like more community work. I feel like that is a portion of my life where I'm lacking, and I feel like I have so much to give, like just like energy and love wise, and just whatever. And I feel like I don't do that enough. Like I'm so just trapped in my own like my work grind, like literally, like I'm at work, like I go to the gym, I go home, I go to work, and this is literally my life 5 days a week. And then I'm at the gym even on my off days. So it's like, so then when I am to myself, I'm just trying to just decompress. But like, no, like I would love to like,
we'll get you involved.
Yeah. Children's in hospitals, like handing out food, whatever. Like if y'all can help me, and I know a few people have emailed me some stuff. So I'm looking to get into that, but yeah, help me out.
Where can people follow you, Sara?
At Sara Talks Sports, Instagram, Twitter, at Sara Talks Sports, Sara Hodges on Facebook, and I need to start a TikTok.
Facts.
I do.
You gotta start a TikTok, and that's what the trend is.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Sara, for coming on, spending some of your busy schedule with us.
Of course.
Appreciate you.
Got you.
Make sure to drop a review on iTunes, share on IGTV and YouTube. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.